Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and today we will be focusing on the presidential activities and the interest of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be having an interest in the technology in Egypt, not just in terms of the internet access in the country or the repercussions of the quality of it, but to be putting technology into form in different fields, in infrastructure, in construction, in building new cities, in different fields at the same time. And of course, the artificial intelligence, the future of Egypt and the future of the world, the interest of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was transferred today at the ICT exhibition under the theme of the Big Reset. Under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the exhibition was held in Cairo for the 24th round. We will be focusing on the 24th round and the inauguration of it, and the interest and the efforts of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past 6 or 7 years in this field. And tonight I'm honored to be having with me in the studio Mr. Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association of the Management of Technology. Mr. Mohamed Azzam, thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate.
My pleasure. Thank you so much and for receiving me, and always be delighted to be part of the Daily Debate.
The pleasure is all mine. Speaking about the ICT and the 24th round of it in Cairo here in Egypt, what is the importance of it and what it is about in general?
Actually, as you said, it shows the importance of the technology in general, because it's becoming a cross-cutting thing for all industries. It involved with the business practices, with the education, with the smart cities, the healthcare system, even the work environment,
yes.
the work dynamics. Technology is always touching every aspect of our life, and thanks to COVID, I think it's one of the positive things that that happened because of COVID is that we realized, or many of the people realized, the importance of the technology and how the technology could change the life and could enhance the quality of life for individual, for businesses, for everyone. And I think COVID had a sort of a spotlight on this issue. We've been missing this kind of spotlight because people were always debating about how the technology could help me as an ordinary citizen, or having a small business, or dealing with the government, or doing something related to my life. I know the technology because I'm using a mobile phone all the time.
Yes.
But the other sides of the technology, the major impact of the technology of having a better life, to have a sort of an ease of doing things, having a sort of an effective way of conducting my businesses, or having an efficient way of doing this. Now the citizens, the people are in the street, they realized how is the technology is important, how is it effective, how is it efficient, and it's possible and it's doable and it's easy. It's not that complicated. I don't have to be a technology expert to deal with technology. I need to have just basic digital skills to deal with it.
And it changes every day as we can speak now. Mr. Mohamed Azzam, you were there today at the opening day or the inauguration of the ICT exhibition in Cairo. Give me your impression about such an exhibition, the impression of the organizers and the participants at the same time.
Actually, it was a brief decision to conduct such important event in Cairo for the 24th times, and in the era of COVID, and of course it wasn't an easy decision. However, there was a brief decision of having or holding the conference and the exhibition this year.
Yes.
And the main theme is mainly is the smart transportation. beside the digital transformation of the governmental activities, beside the financial inclusion, the fintech or the technology in the financial sector.
Yes.
There was also a special hub for, or what's called the innovation arena for startups working in the domain of high tech in general and ICT in particular. And we saw maybe 25 young entrepreneurs doing great things, exhibiting beside the larger corporations, beside the telecom operators, which is very important to connect the ecosystem together, because the big companies, the big names, the big players, always there is a need to be connected with the startups.
Yes.
To
be gaining more ideas.
To gain more ideas, to build business ties, professional ties, to know that some youngsters and some great Egyptian youth are doing or developing very advanced technology in very advanced domain like the artificial intelligence, smart transportation, the fintech, and so on and so forth. And that could be a great opportunity also for the startups to know how the business is conducted, to open channels with the big players and having a footprint in the marketplace at the end.
The ICT is considered one of the most important, not just for Egypt or in Egypt, for Africa as well, and for the Middle East. How can we be contributing to those regions?
Actually, we are. If you look at the project TIBA SAT, Egypt last year launched a satellite mainly for internet services, for the broadband internet services that covering the whole Africa and the Middle East, and this shows the impact and the leadership of for Egypt in this domain, because this domain is mainly depending on brains, and we have definitely brilliant brains with no doubt. And now we are providing high definition satellite images to the African countries, to the Arab countries, and we are providing broadband services through TIBA SAT, as well as because the ecosystem of the entrepreneurship and startups is very close, and if we able to develop a sound, robust kind of application or kind of software that helping solving a certain problem, there is no boundaries actually for your invention or your innovation, and the word is yours, depending on how valuable, how mature is the solution you are providing. So also this could be a good contribution from our startups and our technology community, or let's say the Egyptian digital community, to the advancement in Africa and to the advancement of the Arab countries as well.
The ICT this year is being held under the theme of the Big Reset. What does that mean?
Actually, because we're having a new world, we're having a post-COVID era. Actually, the crisis is not over yet, and we're still in the middle of it. We've witnessed the second wave hitting all over the world. Look at the confirmed numbers in Europe, in the United States, in Brazil, in India, and so on and so forth. So actually, COVID is considered as a real inflection point in the history of the mankind, because it's disrupted everything in our life, starting from the personal hygiene to the healthcare system, to the education system, to the economy, to the how we conduct work.
The whole routine that we're used to.
Actually, we are living in a different era, definitely, and we are reinventing our life, but in a digital format.
Are we ready for this new era?
I think we were ready. And to an extent, actually, the whole
not
world,
just for Egypt, but
the whole world, actually,
humanity.
It's the pandemic is really something serious, and we haven't seen that for the last century, since the Spanish flu back to 1918. So this is a really serious issue. It affected our lives, it affected our health, it affected our businesses, it affected our education system, our production system, the global supply chain was at risk as well. So it's a big reset because we realize the importance of having more technology, or depending on the technology in a different way, And I think the healthcare system, especially the healthcare system, will lead the next wave of innovation and technology, because we realize that we need food and we need medical supplies, and we need something to saving our lives. Rather than having a nice app on the store, we need more serious things. We need technologies that could forecast and foresee the spread of the virus. We need to have a way to fight the virus. We need to go to the infected areas through robots and through drones. We need to have another effective vaccine. And this wouldn't be able to be happen unless without the using the technology in very precise, concise, and very heavy way of doing things, and integrating different technologies altogether, and fighting the virus. The people all over the world, the health authority all over the world use thermal cameras, use mobile apps, use artificial intelligence, data analytics, the big data, the artificial intelligence, the simulation. So that's why I'm saying that the healthcare system will lead the new wave of innovation, and paving the way for great inventions and great products and services based on technology, definitely without hesitation.
For the upcoming 2 or 3 days, what are the topics that you expect will be tackled, more importantly, during the ICT?
I think the more talks will be about the financial inclusion, about the utilization of technology in the financial sector, encouraging the way we are transferring money or receiving money, what's using the mobile wallets. I think there will be another talk about having more services online through the e-government project, a very ambitious project. We would have talks about utilization of technology in the area of trade, utilization of technology in the tax system, in the customs systems. And this is definitely will spotlight or shed light on the importance of the technology on our daily life, which is very important for the many people, the ordinary citizens in the streets. Actually, this is showing the importance of technology, the importance of consuming more technology, because this will lead definitely to having a modern, competitive, and what's called resilient ecosystem. Because COVID showed us that we were working in silos, we were discrete and disconnected, and I think being discrete and disconnected is not an option anymore. We need to be connected, we need to be agile, we need to be resilient, we need to be ready for emergencies. We need to be having a sort of connected intelligent systems, not only system, that capable of forecasting and foreseeing the future, as well as to be dynamic and to be agile and to be responsive to the very sophisticated consumer demands that are changing every day now.
Yes, this is the 24th round of the ICT. Why do you think Egypt came up with the idea 24 years ago, or through the 24 rounds, and what did we gain and what did we contribute to Africa, the Middle East in the process?
Actually, before COVID, of course, the event was hosting many senior officials from our neighborhood, mainly from Africa and the Arab countries. And this showed the importance of having Cairo as the main hub of technology. Because even if you look at the different countries around us who could be more attractive for startups and tech companies, but who's working there? Who's taking the invention and innovation there? Actually, most of them are Egyptian startups and Egyptian minds. So the technology, the beauty of the technology is totally dependent on what's called the brainware. And definitely we have great brainwares everywhere around us.
Yes, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is always speaking about the digitalization of the state entities and how to be building 4G cities and new cities and smart cities altogether. In terms of the ICT, what can it add to the digitalization of the state entities, and a quick comparison with what happened under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the 6 or 7 years that passed?
Let me tell you something. His Excellency, the President al-Sisi, always saying that digital transformation is a matter of national security issue. Why this? Because this gives a message to the world that we are competitive, we are modern economy. We are capable to deal with the 21st century tools, and we are using or consuming technology to the maximum to serve the individuals and serve the businesses. We having a sort of e-government services, which means more transparency, which means more governance, and this is very important that reflecting on your indices on the international reports, because any investor will not come because you have a nice ad in the TV or a nice ad in a newspaper or a magazine. They read in a very thorough way the international reports. And if you look at the global competitive index that always has been issued by the World Economic Forum in Davos, if you look at the 12 pillars of the competitiveness, they are mostly dependent on technology. There are some pillars that totally depending on technology, like the business dynamics, the innovation capacity, the government adoption of ICT, but the other pillars are also dependent on technology, like the infrastructure, the healthcare system, the skills, the education system, the macroeconomic stability, and so on and so forth. So this will give you a better position on the global ladder of competitiveness. That means you would be more attractive to investment, and more investment means more creation of jobs, more balance of your trade, more income to the citizen, which is called GDP per capita, because you are increasing your GDP, and of course will reflect on every one of us.
Yes, speaking of the artificial intelligence, we've heard this term through the movies and through the films, but how can we apply artificial intelligence in Egypt, and more specifically, as we saw through the ICT, that we need to be applying the artificial intelligence for the construction of new roads, for the development of transportation in the country? How can this add to this field?
Actually, artificial intelligence is always there, but we don't see it. It's there in your mobile phone. It's there in your PC. It's there in your car, and so on and so forth. So artificial intelligence is becoming embedded in every aspect of our life.
Yes.
But utilization of artificial intelligence in different ways is very important as well. That's why artificial intelligence has been now used in smart cities, in smart transportation systems, in smart buildings, having artificial intelligence for having individualized learning system, because we are learning differently. Having the artificial intelligence in the healthcare system for forecasting, it has been heavily utilized during the COVID crisis in forecasting the spread of the virus, using supercomputers and artificial intelligence algorithms to develop new vaccines.
Yes.
It could have taken years and years to discover a vaccine for COVID, but it took only a few months to do this. This because of the artificial intelligence algorithm using of the big data analytics based on using supercomputers. So artificial intelligence is there, and Egypt now is adopting a path for the artificial intelligence. It's a national strategy for artificial intelligence that include the training, that including having the new University of Egypt, the Digital Egypt University.
Yes.
For training youth on very advanced areas of high tech, like the big data, the analytics, the simulation, even the digital arts, and dealing with the web tools and using them into application in education, in healthcare, in industry. And one of the great things of artificial intelligence is in industrial sector, and we look at the last industrial complex has been opened by His Excellency the President. It was mainly based on very advanced intelligent machines for the textile. Artificial intelligence is simply paving a way for another inflection point. It means that you will have the tools to be more productive, to be a global player in the trade system, to have an efficient supply chain management, providing services and goods to the people at reduced cost, because now I can estimate things, now I can deal with my resources in a different way, in an efficient way, which is definitely will reflect on the prices that we are paying as individuals, as citizens at the end of the day. So artificial intelligence is there, and it will be there, and this is be the future. That's why Egypt is adopting a new strategy in the training, on the training level, as well as on the application level.
Speaking of the other countries in terms of industry and agriculture, like China, India, the United States, what are the typical forms that were used through the artificial intelligence and the advanced technology to be advancing those sectors in those countries?
Actually, as from the management of technology perspective, you are using the appropriate technology.
Yes.
It's a combination of everything. I might using very high tech, I might use emerging technology, I might use medium technology serving the purpose of a certain industry. For example, back to the agriculture sector, which is very important, and because it's the main source of food to citizens and individuals. If you look at the quantity and the diversity of technologies used in this domain, starting from soil and air sensors, for example, starting from using Internet of Things for monitoring the irrigation system, or having as what's called a smart irrigation system, using big data analytics to forecast the crop and the produce development, using drones to monitor the crops and produce, using mobile apps for having a better logistics system, taking the produce from the field to the manufacturers and then to the market, using smart transportation system to minimize the cycles of handling produce and goods.
Yes.
So it's endless. The application really are endless, and that's why we call it the appropriate technologies, because it's not only high tech, but it's a combination of everything. And this is what happened actually in fighting the virus eruption since March 2020, because there is no fine lines between technologies now. Most of the technologies are more of an integrated technologies. So we are using all kinds of technologies serving the main purpose, and agriculture, healthcare, education. You can industry X 4.0. It's mainly dependent on technology, and this will give you a huge facilities, and will give you huge ability to have a quality zero defect manufacturing concept, actually, which is now it's the name of the game. And by having such quality, having such ability to mass production, because you are utilizing technology heavily in the industrial sector, that would be it would be actually the only mean to be a global player in the global economy, and to be a global player in the trade system all over the world. Especially Egypt is part of Silk Road Initiative by China, and this is a huge global initiative that's changing actually the way of selling products and services all over the world, not only in this part of the world.
Yes, how do you describe the interest or the efforts of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in this field in specific, through the ICT, through integrating technology through different fields in Egypt, when it comes to the transactions, the financial transactions between the government and the citizens of Egypt? How do you see the efforts of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the cabinet of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli in the past years to be integrating technology in everything that we use for the future now?
Actually, President Sisi and Dr. Madbouli are great believers of technology, and they showed a great support for the sector. And I think President Sisi is a believer of the sector as a locomotive of the overall development taking place in Egypt. That's why if you look at Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, included 10 billion Egyptian pounds in this fiscal year to support the digital transformation projects, as well as there will be a fund of 20 billion Egyptian pounds for supporting the digital transformation, small businesses and startups working in the domain of digital transformation, the fintech and the high tech in general. There is now national initiatives and national strategies for artificial intelligence and digital transformation. There is a strategy for the e-commerce. There is a national strategy for modernization. The whole trade system has been untouched for years and years, almost 5 decades now. There is a national strategy for having a sort of transformation of the whole industrial sector based on the concepts of Industry 4.0. So the support of His Excellency the President is very clear, and I think he's mandating the government to follow his vision in this regards, and the legal system now are supporting this kind of transformation. We have the personal data protection laws, we have cybercrime laws, we have the National Council of e-payment, we have the National Council of the Digital Community. So things are moving and moving rapidly, and I would say in the right direction. If you would be able to visit the exhibition, you see how most of the government entities are there. They are all integrated. They are working using technology. They are providing their services over the internet to businesses and to individuals in a very transparent way, in a very efficient way, and the governance is there. And one of the great things I think is the governance, and President Sisi is always saying and emphasizing on the concept of having a sort of a very clear governance in all the governmental activities all over the country, and this definitely would give the proper image to the outside world as well, indicating that Egypt is changing. Egypt is becoming another player in the global market. Egypt is becoming a modern country that using modern technologies. We have the skills, and we are providing people with the right skills, especially the digital skills in all different domains of the technology. And this is a great message, and this would change definitely the mindset and the mental image of investors and the international organization all over the world about Egypt. If you look at the latest report by the IFC and IMF regarding the global performance economically, you would be amazed that Egypt is with just a few countries who are now during 2020 having a positive growth, while United States having a negative growth of 6%, Eurozone having a negative growth of 9%, Japan 6%, England almost 7%. So we are very proud of having such government and such vision by the President and by the Cabinet. of using the technology heavily in every aspect, because this is the future.
Yes.
And without missing this wave, it would lead definitely to unpleasant consequences. So we are not waving the wave. We are trying to be along the wave and even be ahead of the wave, hopefully, inshallah.
Yeah, speaking of transparency through technology, everyone is going on their mobile phones, the laptops, the computers, the personal computers as well. But we can see technology, but we can see the result of technology and the result of the artificial intelligence. And I would like to ask about the economic results, the financial results, the amount of investments that could be pumped into the Egyptian economy through the ICT, through the artificial intelligence, through those exhibitions that are building for the future.
Let me tell you, I think ICT sector is growing by double digits, which
Yes.
is something amazing compared to traditional industries. And this sector is the only sector who's capable of delivering unicorns. What's called unicorns? It's the billion-dollar companies. And now we have an Egyptian company which is listed in London Stock and Cairo Stock, which is now is evaluated by $1 billion US. Working in the fintech area. And there is another company which is a startup and could be the second unicorn, which is working in the public transportation using mobile app. And I would say very soon there would be another unicorn in the public transportation or the smart transportation system. So this is how you make things. You grow businesses in the area of ICT, and then few of them will be unicorns, and unicorns will create, will spread the positive virus, and will have a role model like the two companies I've just mentioned. The youth and the startups would follow to create unicorns, and this is what happened actually in the Silicon Valley in the United States, where the great IT companies were founded there. So Egypt, because it has the brains, as I said, we have one of the best brains all over the world, and I've seen many startups, and I've been very close to many startups working in ICT domains, and we had the chance not even showing cases in Cairo ICT, but also we showed their cases in the many international events all over the world, and I saw the difference as appreciation of our technology products. So technology is the way to create wealth. By having more innovation, and the more challenges you have is the more innovation that you can provide, because challenge equals opportunity. So, and the challenge is only solvable through utilization of technology in a different format in every sector. Just name the sector, I would say the technology is playing the principal role of advancing this sector, having this sector more competitive and being able to be more productive, which definitely will reflect on your international indices all over the world, and by the reports issued by the World Economic Forum, or the reports by the World Bank or IFC or IMF. And this is the way to you give the message to the outside world that you are capable to attract more investment, and more investment, as I said before, means more jobs. So it's an endless circle. It's a circle. All things are connected. It's interdisciplinary. Technology at the core of everything. If you look at Egypt Vision 2030 on the different pillars,
yes,
you can easily see the technology is there embedded in each sector, and without having this technology in each sector, I think it will be very hard to realize Egypt Vision 2030. That's why President Sisi is quite a believer in the role of technology, and he's supporting the sector in unprecedented way. Of course, we haven't seen such support from the political leadership for years and years, except with the President Sisi, and he's pushing the sector far further towards more productivity, more competitiveness, and to have more success stories in this domain.
One of the sectors that we hear about a lot in the past few years is financial inclusion in Egypt. What is the importance of technology in financial inclusion? The financial inclusion itself, how is it important for the Egyptian citizens' future? And where are we now in terms of applying such a concept?
We've started, I think, aggressive, in an aggressive way maybe 3-4 years ago, even before COVID. And the financial inclusion rate was like 13%, and now is like 33-35%. Of course, we are very ambitious to get to be more and more. And I think with using the technology, using this mobile phone, because maybe most of the people are not familiar, they are not at ease dealing with the typical financial institutions like banks. They are more competent and they feel more at ease using mobile phones. That's why the financial inclusion through the mobile phones would be very efficient way and will increase the number of the people included into the financial system, because having the cash outside of the financial institution is something very bad to the economy. The money should be within the financial sector to be invested and to have a return on such money, and of course this will have a return on individuals who are having saving. But the different, we are now facing, because of the technology, different way of dealing with things. A few years ago, we were dealing with only ATMs. Now we have like 95% of Egyptians are using mobile phones, like 75% they are using smartphones. So it's a huge percentage of the population. That's why including such way of doing things through the mobile phone, I think will have a leapfrog for the in the sector of the financial inclusion, and will increase the adoption by far, because it's easy to deal with mobile. People are using the mobile, they are using their apps a lot every day. So what I need to have an easy way to do things and have a sort of awareness, and to have inclusion for all parties, not only individuals, because I could have a mobile wallet, but if I go to a grocery or a pharmacy and they accept only cash, so this it will lead to nowhere.
Yes.
So I need to include the all parties, even the small merchants, having a sort of incentives for them for using electronic payment. This would definitely will have a great impact, because we are having the technology, but we are not using this kind of technology, or what's called the fintech.
To the limit.
To the limit, because the acceptance ratio is still below expectation, because it's mainly
we need time to change the mindset.
I think we need time, we need incentives, and we need to impose some regulations on this as well. And if you look at the countries who made a great success, like India and Kenya, in this regard, and have a tremendous improvement in the area of financial inclusion, they have done this through mobile wallets, using mobile phones, through the mobile operators. And beside the awareness, beside having a sort of incentives, they force it by regulation. You need to say that maximum by a certain amount, I'm not going to receive the cash, even with intermediary.
Yes.
Because now, of course, there is a law that our ministerial decrees that is saying that more than £500 you need to pay it electronically, but however there is an intermediate entity that taking the cash and then transferring the money electronically through their system to the governmental entities. However, I need to have a bridge of this intermediate, because I need people to encourage people using this kind of instrument
for their benefit.
For the benefit, for the easenesses of doing things.
Security.
We need to inform them that it's very secure. Nobody will hack your mobile wallet, and if under any circumstances you are protected by the regulation, and you don't need to pay extra money for having your to pay your fees, paying your bills, or you need only to use your mobile, and it's very easy application. And during COVID, people again realized the importance of having, because we were totally isolated, there was a great lockdown, and people started to use mobile wallets more. They realized that I can transfer the money from my mobile. Why should I go to the bank to do this? Why should I go to the grocery paying cash to the people or the man standing in the grocery or any sales outlet to pay money to transfer to someone else? So I can use the mobile, transfer the money directly.
Yes.
I don't have to go through all this hassle. So it's a culture, and with more easy application, with more convenience, I think the rates will be higher. With more regulations and having a sort that we need to do this by the end of 2022, no more cash under any format. And if you look at, I was in India last year before COVID, and people are paying to a small motorcycle using barcode by their mobiles. Yes. And India is very similar to our case. And if you look at Kenya as well, 6 million farmers are using virtual money to transfer money from one to another, and this virtual currency become the main currency, not the official currency. So everything is changing. So there's a need, always a need, but how convenient it is, how easy it is, and how the regulation is helping me to do such things and to move me, to push me in this forward, in this positive direction.
Yes, and it's all about the change of culture and the change of the mindset for the Egyptian citizens to be looking into the future in terms of financial inclusion, artificial intelligence, and the main topic of tonight, the exhibition, the ICT, which was held in Cairo under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We will be having more information about the digital transformation in Egypt in the upcoming few years. So let's see it.
Egypt is currently paying special attention to digital transformation with an ambitious plan targeting the digitization of all government services countrywide. In order to reach this end, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has directed the Minister of Information Technology to increase the usage of artificial intelligence technologies in the state's construction and urban planning projects, as well as in farming, health, and education. President al-Sisi called for upgrading post offices nationwide, as well as automating the litigation system as per the Digital Egypt Justice Strategy. The president demanded the immediate start of the Digital Egypt initiative, which he said would directly contribute to the country's efforts in digital transformation and enhance the digital skills of human resources to provide Egyptians with quality digitized services. Information Technology Minister Talat Mustafa reviewed the latest developments concerning launching a platform for urban community models that are meant to govern the construction system in Egypt and prohibit building violations and land transgressions. The country is also launching a number of domestic projects in electronic design and manufacturing, which is part of the state's vision to assist companies that work in the field to reach international markets, attract direct foreign investments, and enhance electronic trade. Egypt is currently paying special attention to digital transformation. It has allocated 12.7 billion Egyptian pounds for gradual digital transformation in the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget.
We had a report about the digital transformation in Egypt in the upcoming few years, and one of the main topics and one of the main fields that we will be focusing on tonight through the daily debate is the construction of the new cities with a new generation of technology. Mr. Mohamed Azzam, the importance of having new cities with a whole new outlook for the importance of the living standards of the Egyptian citizens in the future.
We need, of course, due to the growth of our population, all new cities, and we cannot build the new cities based on the old concepts. We need to have a sort of fourth generation cities like the new administrative capital, New Alamein, and many other cities around the country. And smart cities means more convenience, more better quality of life, because it will be more environmentally friendly, having a sort of easenesses of commuting, because I'm using smart transportation systems, having artificial intelligence in the buildings for energy having a sort of better energy consumption, having energy saving, having better dealing with environmental aspects, having a way of providing better services to citizens and business in cities, and having a better quality of life, which is again reflect on the mental image of Egypt, and changing the way the people outside Egypt are looking at us. We are becoming, delivering the message, we are becoming a modern country.
Yes.
Having modern cities, having modern business. We are conducting business differently. We are conducting businesses according to international standards. We are becoming a global player. A lot of messages, and of course having this kind of life will affect the quality of life for citizens, and also will affect the ease of doing business for business on different scales, the big businesses, the small businesses, the micro businesses. So you are creating something from scratch. You are creating something according to state-of-art international standards, which is definitely will impact the ability to attract more investment, the ability to have more efficient and effective businesses, and eventually will increase the GDP per capita, which is the ultimate goal for any country all over the world.
Yes, to be building new cities with a certain technology and a certain type of artificial intelligence is one thing, but the renovation of the cities that we have now, how achievable is that?
It is achievable because we've seen this in many cities, old cities all over the world. Look at Paris, London, Rome. Thanks again to the technology, because the technology, for example, in a city like Cairo, is a very big city, one of the biggest cities all over the world. Having artificial intelligence in maintaining the utilities, for example, having the artificial intelligence to be embedded in a transportation system that would be a smarter transportation system. Having the ability to provide homes and small businesses with fiber optics cables, having better speed for the internet, having the kind of e-government services that will make life easier for everyone, having financial services through your mobile, or having your financial services through the internet, using the latest technology in monitoring and maintaining the basic or the existing infrastructure, because this would save time, would save money, would definitely saving time and money will reflect on the quality of life. Implementing technology in all cities to monitor the environment and to enhance the environmental conditions around citizens. This also will give a better quality of life. So technology does not mean that I have to do it in a new city, but I can implement it also in a very old city like Cairo. And it's doable, and that's why the government of Egypt are doing a lot of projects in the area of smart transportation, in the area of smart utilities, and of course the e-government services, which is affecting every one of us all over the country.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association of Management of Technology. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate.
My pleasure, always mine. Thank you.
The pleasure is on mine. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.